The first letter in his name is a Yod, and of course it looks like an apostrophe in the modern Hebrew, but in the ancient Hebrew it looks like this.
Yeah.
You know, now in the Samaritan script, the letter Yod, which by the way means hand, and it kind of depicts the forearm and the hand.
Yes.
You see, that's what this is. And the second letter, now this is very interesting. Remember what I told you this means in Hebrew. The letter actually stands for a hand. Forearms, you know, it isn't just the hand, it's the forearm and the hand, you know, which is interesting because that's where the nails went. The nails went here. They didn't go in here, you know, when it ripped out. They put the nails in between these two big bones in the Messiah's hands. Now this is the second letter of the name. And it's written, of course, this is the first letter. And instead of going this way, we have to go to the left. And that's the Hay. And that means window. And you know, the eyes are windows. There's two of these in the name. Yes. Now, the third letter, which is the most mysterious letter of all, is the Uah, which they've been calling a YaHUaH. A Wah, you know, like YaHUaH. That's a trombone, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah,
Sort of
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is a Uah because it operates in almost all cases as a U or an O. It's 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 a U or an O. It operates in almost all cases as a U or an O, you know? And you'll hear this in all kinds of names. And I'm going to show you one of them or two of them here. But this is the third letter of the name. You see how that's building up there? You see that? Now, what's really going to be fun is we only have one more letter. And it's, well, it's another one of these.
Yeah.
And when you put them together, of course, it looks like what I have on my shirt here. It looks like this. You have a Yod, a Hay, an Uah, or a Wah, which will show you that that's actually an errant pronunciation, and a Hay. Yod-Hay-Uau-Hay. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, that's
crystal clear. Great. Great. The four letters that you see here are found, Yod-Hay-Uau-Hay, that's the name of the creator, found at least 6,823 times, by the way, in the Tanakh.
Ooh.
The Tanakh is an acronym for Torah, Nebiim, and Ketubim, which means the law, the prophets, and the writings. Anyway, there it is. Now, look at this letter, look at this word down here. This is the same word right here, I mean, a similar word. This is the name of Leah's fourth son. The tribe was named after him, YaHUaH. They've corrupted it to Judah and finally Jew. All the people that descend from YaHUaH, you know, are today, they're called Jews. But look at this. There's that Yod. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now look at the name. You can see the name, except for this triangular letter. The name is intact right there in YaHUaH's name. In fact, his name means praiser or worshiper of Yah. See, YaHUaH. Now this has a Daleth in it. They've jabbed this Daleth in, okay? Now YaHUaH is the way you say it. And I've transliterated it up here, and I've underlined the equivalent tetragrammaton, or four letters. Yod, Hay, Uah, Hay. Now that is commonly mistaken to be a double U. Well, what do you hear when you say the name of the letter W? Well, you're saying double U. There is no such thing in the Hebrew. That's a new letter. It appeared around the 13th century on the earth. the letter W was actually two U's. Now, where did the letter U come from? Well, the letter U came from this letter, the third letter of the name. It's not YaHUaH. This man's name is not YaHUaH. Okay? That's Priscilla. All right.
You sound like a Wookiee.
Well, yeah. Now, because corruption of the Hebrew has been a living language, and it has been evolving. Yeah. So it's changing with use. That's why there's a V in the language now, but there wasn't before. But these three letters right here in our alphabet, U, V, W, all occur next to each other. Now, where did they come from? Well, this letter produced all three of these letters. And you can look this up on Wikipedia or other online dictionaries. Do some research, because the third letter of YaHUaH's name is even more difficult for people to get than any of the letters. And the letter U evolved from this letter, because when this letter went into Greek, it became the Greek upsilon, not a V, but an U, the upsilon. You know, you see the shape didn't change at all. Now watch this. When this letter went into Latin later, it lost this stem right here. See, the lower stem was lost. It became the V shape, but it wasn't a V. It was operating as a U. Like in the word in Latin for sword, like a gladiator's sword, is the word gladius. And they spelled it with a V shape, but it operated as a U. And for hundreds and hundreds of years in the recent times, that V shape was written on stones and things like that, and it represented a U. Gladius. That's the word for sword in Latin. Anyway, this letter is the same thing as a U. And that's why these three letters right here all come from this one letter over here, but originally looking like this. Went into the Greek, see, and then it went into the Latin without the lower stem. That's a pretty big thing to overcome, because when you go back and you understand what they were writing in the 1500s, like this word Petrus Galatinus, I believe it was, came up with this transliteration. And this transliteration actually is the same thing as our pronunciation today of YaHUaH, because this is not a V to them. It's a V to us, but it isn't a V to the people of the 1500s. They were seeing this as HUaH. They were seeing HUaH. They weren't. This is a diphthong, a dipping of the tongue. People don't get diphthongs anymore. That's too. I mean, we're into like all this, ebonics and stuff, But this is actually technically the way it worked. And there's the four letters of the Tetragrammaton. It's a Yod, and they gave the iota in the Greek a tail, because it was at the beginning of around 1530. They just started developing this shape. But it still operates like in the name of the country Yugoslavia. It's spelled with this letter, but it's pronounced as a Y, Yod-Hay-Uau-Hay. And they were pronouncing it YaHUaH. That's what they were saying. Not YaHUaH, but YaHUaH.